Well, this has got to be one of the fancier parking lots I've ever been to. Look at that. What the heck is that? I don't even know, but it's got some flower pots and dragons crawling around on it. Pretty cool, and it's not the only one either. Look, they've got more. As far as the eye can see. Well, hello once again, fellow people. Welcome to another edition of Tommy Travels. It's Tommy Travels. And today I bring you the House on the Rock, just outside of Madison, Wisconsin. And if you've never been here before to this location, or you've heard of the House on the Rock, but you haven't actually seen what's inside of this building or this complex, then you are in for a real treat today. It is just opening up. People are just starting to gather inside. Dropped off a busload of people. So we're gonna go join in and see what's going on. And there is a lot to see here, so come on with me. Let's go see what there is to see. So this is the back side of the house that we were just looking at earlier. And you kind of think from looking at it like, okay, well, this is going to be a pretty short tour. There's not much to see in there. But when you scan over a little bit, you find out that it is quite a vast complex. Look at this, they've got a cool dragon sculpture back here, which is also a waterfall. I like that. But for some reason now, I feel like I have to go to the bathroom. So this home was built and designed by a guy named Alex Jordan. According to the sign, it was back in the 1940s. He was a big fan of a location called Deer Shelter Rock, where he used to picnic. And he liked it so much that he decided that once the land became available to build a house here. And that was in 1945 that it started building. And got to be about 1960 and people started hearing about what he was doing up here, and they asked to come and see the house. He started charging 50 cents for everybody that wanted to see it, and they gladly paid. And that's what built the rest of the house. He kept using that money to keep expanding it, and there is Alex Jordan himself. So you normally hear a lot about Alex Jordan and the House on the Rock, but seldom do you ever hear anything about Jenny, who was the love of his life. And there she is right there. And they met in the 1930s, and she stayed with him up until his death 50 years later. And they never got married. He said, "I believe in those long engagements." And she stayed with him and built a happy home here for place that they could work in peace and escape from the demands of his success. And then, from back in the day, there's even a Valentine's Day card. Pretty sweet. This is kind of cool. They have a little Humpty Dumpty guy here, which doesn't seem all that interesting until you see this right here. Put your hand, and he starts moving. There he goes. Be careful, Humpty. You are on a great wall. You don't want to have a great fall. This guy right here, from what the sign says, is Hotai, God of Happiness. And they say to rub his belly for good luck. And so, I need all the luck I can get there, big guy. Thank you very much. I've got all sorts of exhibits in here, like that old paddle boat. Pretty sweet. Old doll, a banjo, and even some old-time slot machines, which you could play for nickels or 2 bits. You don't hear people using 2 bits very often anymore. So what we were in before was the museum area, and now we've entered the house itself. You can see it's very Asian themed with low ceilings and even a no-man band. I thought it was just a player piano, but it's not. It's got the whole band. It's got drums and a harp, keyboard, violin even back there. Look at the drum going. Here they have a little dining room area back here. And then as we enter into the kitchen, with the oven right there, and the 4 burners, this had to be a pretty sweet setup for back then. Got the sink, pots and pans, and even a wine rack to go along with the pretty wide refrigerator and freezer. And more wine. This place, they must have gone through a lot of wine here. It looks like it's built for parties. Well, it appears that Alex Jordan seemed to like waterfalls about as much as I do. Because just about everywhere you turn, there's another waterfall. Which for me is worth the price of admission. And what you are looking at here is called the winter room. As you can see, it has a very cozy feel to it. And this is the very first room that was ever built at the House on the Rock. I could see many a night hanging around here, shooting the breeze. Well, welcome to the Infinity Room. The Infinity Room, just to give you an idea, is this right here. Our current location is right about here, and we are going to be walking all the way to the very end to look out onto the evergreen goodness. As you can see, these windows, I don't know if you can really tell on camera, but they're kind of slanted outward. So when you look out, it looks like you can really peer right over the edge and look straight down. And this point that we're at right now we have something underneath us right there. You can see that. But now when you take another step, boom, nothing underneath us. If this floor were to suddenly collapse, we would be going way down there. It is a pretty wild feeling with the slanted windows looking over. That is a long ways down. And it's called the Infinity Room because it angles to a point. So it looks like the room just kind of goes on forever, but it doesn't. It ends at this point right up here. Look at these beautiful views though. Absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. It's kind of tough to see with the windows, but man, very beautiful. This little guardrail is stopping us from continuing any further because, as you can see, it just keeps narrowing up until there's no room at all to go. And then also, this is the highlight of the visit in the Infinity Room. An open glass to look down, straight down. And also, just to let you know, if you bounce up and down, you can feel the whole place shaking. People seem to like to do that a lot too around here. This is a very awesome experience. And look, they have another no-man band here. I'm starting to wonder if musicians just don't want to play live at the House on the Rock, so they had to build these things. They even have a very peaceful little wishing well here, filled with a lot of wishes down there. I would throw a little change in if I had any, but I feel like I'm good because I already rubbed the god of happiness's belly. So I think I am all set for the good luck. And so now we have climbed all the way to the top of the House on the Rock. And look at these views. Wow. I'm starting to understand why he built a house here with views like this. Absolutely beautiful. They even have a stained glass window coffee table with a stained glass lamp to match. This place has more things to see than you can fathom. And here's even another lounge area. I don't know for sure, but I think somebody was a fan of bench-style seating. Just a guess. So we've just entered section 2 of the building, and we are greeted by this view out the side window of a paddle wheel and some shelves with some pitchers and glasses, different housewares. And I like this too, the coffee table with the, it looks like it's one of those fireplace blowers, but it's just a coffee table. And look at these glass marbles they have in here. Very ornate. We might want to keep those away from the old gun collection. Look at that gun. That's like 6 feet long. Look at that. It goes right from here all the way down. It just never ends. Look at that. And that's not all the guns. He's even got a lot more way up here. I think he liked his guns. Yep. I think he really liked his guns. It just keeps going and going. Here seems to be a collection of completely non-creepy circus types of things. Shelves and shelves full of them. Yep, not creepy at all. And if you hate dolls, this is definitely not the room for you. Dolls everywhere. Even the ones that are just hanging around on the wall. And we go from creepy circus stuff and dolls to Fabergé eggs. Holy cow. Priceless. These are all Fabergé. Look at the ornate detail, and there's a carousel one. Just like the carousel animals we've been seeing around. Oh my gosh. Something tells me that these are worth somewhere north of a fortune. They even have a whole main street set up in here. With an apothecary, a barber shop, and look at this, even a sheriff's office. And then inside they've got very authentic scenes set up, just like back in the day. Like the sheriff's office has an old jail cell. And even wanted posters. Look at this. The head of the renowned bandit, Joaquin, will be exhibited for one day only, August 19th, 1853 at the Stockton House. And here we have another ornate, very cool looking band setup. This is more like the marching band. And when you put tokens in, they come alive. And they just start playing. And they move. It's quite loud, actually. And I think I've just happened upon the only part of the house on the rock that I remember. This is an ivory collection. This is what I remember standing right here when I was in kindergarten or younger with my parents and grandparents. I feel a little sentimental right now. I promised myself I wouldn't do this! We are now in the Heritage of the Sea exhibit, and that way up there is the tail of a huge whale. It's hard to really see it from down here, but he is eating what looks to be an octopus. Also a very big octopus. Goes way up there to the second story. Incredible. Here's a little closer up view of the whale and all of those teeth. If I were a dentist, this would be my dream come true right here, I think. And here it is from the tippy top. Look at that. He's got a canoe in his mouth. I don't know if you can see it very well, but look, they've got this bird right here too. Looks like it's actually flying. I'm sure it's just hanging there, but it's a really neat effect. Well, this is by far the fanciest carriage ride I've ever seen in person. And check out the hood ornament. It even has an oversized, huge hood ornament. Not too shabby. Well, we have seen land and sea today, and now we're in the spirit of aviation. And look at all of those planes. That is a huge collection, to say the least. They've got an area here even with some old-time hot air balloons and a lot of other cool stuff. Look at this. Got a whole house down here. Oh my gosh. That's got to be the biggest toy train I've ever seen. Look, just for perspective, right there, that's a covered wagon right there. That's how big this thing is. And this place even has its own pizza parlor. Lots of people in line to grab a slice. And then they even have a dining room over here to sit down and enjoy it. So what we are looking at here is a 1963 Lincoln Continental. The original owner was a plate spinner, and his inspiration was to cover it in leather, which he did, and it cracked within a year. So then he decided the next option would be tile. As you can see, there it is. But it wasn't easy because you can't just put tile down. He found out that you have to armor coat the car in order to make that work. And then that was so heavy, they had to extend the length of the car. Boy, the things you find at the House on the Rock. Oh sure, anyone could have a suit of armor collection like that, but it takes a real genius to come up with something like this. A whole scene set up. I think this guy down here lost the battle. Wow. They even have a crown collection. My gosh. I've got one just like this at home. I was going to wear today. Thank God I didn't. That would have been embarrassing. Wow. I'm starting to think that this house doesn't have an ending to it. And everywhere you turn, there's going to be another music room. That's, I think, because I'm literally in the music room area. Look how fancy this place is. There's a lot of priceless artifacts in this building, that is for sure. Well, if you have a little bit of sensory overload, I don't blame you. Because we're seeing things like this today. The entire circus. And circus orchestra. Which is not currently functional. So much to see. And here is the highlight of the whole trip. The famous carousel. Absolutely stunning. See these drums right here? When it comes time, they beat to the music. Just like that. Absolutely gorgeous. And here's a look from the very top, up at the ceiling. Hello, ma'am. How are you today? Wow. Just never ending. Well, thank you guys very much for hanging out with me today at the House on the Rock in Spring Green, just outside of Madison, Wisconsin. I can't believe how much stuff there was to see here today. And this is an absolute masterpiece of a carousel. If you enjoyed what you saw here today, go ahead and hit like on my YouTube channel. And then go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the bell notification next to it. That just gives you future updates of videos that are yet to come. And then go to TommyTravels.fun. You can hook up with me on Instagram and Facebook and all that fun stuff. Well, thank you guys once again, and I hope to catch you on the flip side. Here's a picture of a custom car designed by Alex Jordan. It doesn't say what year or anything like that, but it's a pretty cool looking car. It was designed, I think, when he looked a little something like this. They even have a really cool, accurate, all lit up model of the Titanic, complete with iceberg. If you like butterflies, it looks like they've got some butterfly art for you. I think my favorite one is this one right here. Glows in the dark. I like it.